Hi, so today I'm going to talk to you about castor oil packs for your thyroid or for Hashimoto's. Um, I've been using a castor oil pack now for many, many years, and this is something that thousands, if not millions of people around the world have experienced and used and have really benefited from. So I'm going to dive into the stuff I use for it and how I use it today. I've written a blog post that talks you through the benefits, and I've also done a free guide for you that you can download that talks you through exactly what you need and the steps you need to take to do the two different methods that I'm going to be sharing with you today. But castor oil packs have an amazing history at supporting a whole host of different conditions. So it's not just for your thyroid, and it's not just if you have, an underactive thyroid, overactive thyroid, or Hashimoto's or Graves', but actually you can use it for loads of different things. And I talk you through that in the blog post. But for today's little video, I'm just going to share with you what I personally do for my castor oil packs. So I've been using them for years, as I mentioned, and recently I've invested or treated myself to a proper castor oil pack. So I'm going to show you old school method, and then I'm going to show you the more sort of recent method I'm using as well, or tools I'm using. So the traditional method that I've been using for a number of years is just using castor oil packing fabric. So typically you can buy 2 of these square packing fabric sheets in a bag. I share the link, I share everything you need in the guide. So you just go on there, it'll show you everything you need. But this is just a square piece of cotton cloth, which is specifically, made for castor oil, because castor oil is messy. And using something like a flannel doesn't really work because it's too rough and it really absorbs too much castor oil as well. So what you want to do with this is fold it in half, and then you want to put your castor oil onto the cloth. So I would normally just pour a little bit on here when you're starting off. You can then fold it in half and then kind of spread the oil around a little bit in the cloth so it's more evenly distributed across the cloth. When we're starting off with castor oil packs, there's really only one place that I'd recommend that you start, and this is around the liver area. So when we think about the liver, it's a pretty large organ that's on your right hand side underneath the breast. Okay, so you're really thinking about this whole area here that you want to get the pack onto. So you want to make sure that your pack is your cloth is nicely covering not just the front really. You really want to kind of wrap around the side a little bit as well to make sure that you're getting a good area covered with this cloth. And then I always recommend that there's a few things you need to get ready before you get going. And that is to make sure that you've got bedding you don't care about, or a very old towel. I always use an old towel I don't care about. You want to be thinking about having old t-shirts or top that you don't care about. So for me, historically, what I've always done is use a big bath sheet that goes down on my bedding. I will then get into some tracky bottoms that I don't care about. I would not wear a bra or a top, and I would just literally then get my cotton fabric onto the right hand area, and I would then put another towel, which I didn't care about much about, over this, that then just sits directly on top of that. I would then get a top on just to keep it all snug and tight and in place so that it doesn't kind of move around. I've got a nice tight one that just kind of sits over it all. And then I would use my hot water bottle that just goes directly over that area. And I would lie with this for about 45 minutes to start with, and then gradually increase that up to an hour. And then you get to a point where you're sleeping with it. And then obviously the hot water bottle will be there for the first stages, and then you would just leave it on overnight. Obviously to clean it all off, it's messy, and so it's not always so straightforward. My advice to you is, firstly, do not wash your cloth. Just keep the castor oil in here. I'd say for at least a couple of months. It will start to smell. You'll start smelling that the oil goes rancid. So just, you'll be able to smell the cloth isn't great. Unless you're like me, who's still not got this smell back after COVID. I can't smell or taste. It's awful, because it used to be my strongest barometer and it's gone now. But look, see if you can smell it, and then you would then either chuck it and just use another one, or you can try and wash it using some bicarbonate soda and warm water, and then just try and wash it with a natural detergent. But otherwise, just fold your cloth up with your oil on, pop it into a glass Tupperware container, and then just pop your lid on. So we use this for everything, all glass Tupperware containers, and then just pop that in your fridge. So the thing is, any oil, whether it's castor oil or not, is a carrier. So when we're going to put it in a plastic Tupperware or a plastic bag, it's going to absorb the toxins within the plastic. So a lot of people might recommend that you put your packing fabric on, then you put a plastic sheet or a Ziploc bag over the area before you put your towel on. I don't recommend that, because there's always a risk of that plastic moving, then it's, and it's coming into contact with the oil, and then that oil is going into your body. So for me personally, I just say, get some old clobber that you don't care, or, that you don't care about, that you can just use like a towel, a t-shirt, make sure you're not using sort of your favorite bedding and stuff like that. So that's sort of the old school method in terms of your liver. Now, for your thyroid, what I would say, I would recommend that you use the same fabric, but you just cut a rectangle. So you're literally just going to cut like one rectangle shape out of here, because you're just covering your thyroid. You're not covering a big part. So it's literally going to sit like this, like that, right? And again, you're going to do the same thing. You're just going to put some castor oil on, rub it together, make sure it's kind of even distributed, and then you putting it on, and then again you're just going to put a towel on. So I don't normally put a towel on because I just can't breathe. I find if my neck is constricted, I don't cope very well, since I've had issues with my thyroid. So for me, I just prefer having a flannel over this area to protect her, and then you can put a heat bag on this that you can just warm up, or a hot water bottle or something similar to that. And you wouldn't do this for longer than 15 minutes. And again, in the guide, I talk you through, if you have Hashimoto's or Graves', what the difference in timing is that you need for each. So what I will say though, so obviously on your first attempt, when you're using it either for your liver or your thyroid, you're going to have a small amount of oil on this cloth. And then the more you use it, the more saturated your cloth is going to get. And you're going to think, oh, this is pretty gross, because you're going to pick it up and it's going to have oil on your fingers and it's not going to feel so good. Don't worry about that. You really want the cloth separated, because the more places you can get that oil to transdermally be absorbed into the body, the greater the benefits are going to be for you. So you really want it to be saturated. You don't want it to be dripping with oil, never, but you want it to be saturated, okay? So you want to touch it and have some residue of the oil on your fingers, ideally. So don't worry about that. And again, the same thing with your little piece for your thyroid. You just pop it in the same box, and then you're good to go, really. And just pop it in the fridge and just take it out a couple of hours before you want to use it. So you've not got something freezing going on your stomach area or your throat. Nothing worse for us with thyroid conditions. We don't really tolerate the extreme cold and hot. So it's really around what works for your bodies. So just get that temperature bit right, so that you're not finding it uncomfortable, because there's nothing worse than dealing with another element of sort of, temperature dysregulation. So I'm going to quickly show you what I got just before Christmas. This is my little treat. I bought this in the end of November for myself. So this is the product you can now buy in the UK called Castor, and it's a lovely little box, and then it just comes with your castor oil pack and your oil. So just like not using a plastic sheet to cover things, you never ever want to buy castor oil in a plastic bottle, because it's going to absorb all the plastic from that bottle and it's going to go into your body. And a lot of people might be drinking castor oil to support constipation. So again, the last thing you want is for that to be in a plastic bottle. So with your pack, it's just so much better. It's a bit more glamorous, definitely less messy. So I've got a new one here, so I'm not showing you mine because I've got clothes on and stuff, but this is basically how it looks. So you've got a lovely little shape. So that's your cotton fabric on this side. Then on this side, you have more of sort of a water repellent sheet on the side, just to make sure that it's not going to go through onto your clothes and stuff like that. So again, you would do the same thing. You'd use some of your oil, you'd put that onto the area. You would again do the same stuff. You just rub it all together, and then you would nicely be able, which is great, this is the good part, to position this on the area, and then you just tie it up, which is great. And you can then try and lower this a little bit. You can then do the bottom because there's two of them. And what I like about this is that I sleep much better with it. So I'm not got like loads of stuff that's moving around with me. And because a while ago now, a couple of years ago, I invested in an electric heat pad, because for me, the hot water bottle just didn't do it. And also because I sleep with mine, I wanted something that would just automatically switch off. So this does automatically switch off. Again, the link's in my download. And you have a removable cover, which has been washed a few times, which is great. So it's easy, it's simple. And what you can do with this is then just put this into your sheet. You can either double fold it, or you can open it up and do it lengthways and just pop it into your straps, which works equally well. So whatever works best for you, you can then just get this in. I'm holding on to the wrong things. And then you can have a nice little toasty sleep with this, and just obviously find out where it's comfortable for you. For me, I find it comfortable having here because I never sleep on my front. So the plug socket doesn't, the plug doesn't bother me there. And sometimes halfway through the night, I'll just pull it out and leave the rest on. But this will stay on, and you can set the temperature and everything for this as well. So this is the nicest thing to do for yourself. And then what I always do is I get a nice little meditation on for myself to start with, get myself in the mood for activating my parasympathetic nervous system so that I'm getting into rest and digest, which actually the castor oil helps you with as well. And it's just such a lovely hack or tool that you can use to feel great. And so there are a couple of things to think about. Remember, we're all different. Everyone's going to potentially respond different to the treatment. What I would suggest is you start off and you really just listen to your body. Start small, like with any recommendation on supplement or change in diet or any new protocol you're following. Just always think about the fact that your body is going to give you feedback on whatever you're trying. So start small and then build on that. Don't go in for the maximum amount of time first and then have a headache and have a rash and have some kind of physiological reaction. And then you're thinking, oh, this was awful. This really doesn't work. This is awful. Why did they recommend this? Because when we go into the extreme, our bodies are likely to sort of, have some kind of backlash to it and react. So just start small, do sort of half an hour, 45 minutes, 45 minutes, definitely the maximum for your first one. And then just gradually build on that up to an hour. And then you can move on to doing it overnight as well. And, the nice thing about this particular pack is actually you can just do it when you're working, and you can just do it during the day when you're watching telly or whatever. So you could do it at other times. You don't have to do it at night. You don't have to make time for it when you're like uncomfortable and squashed up. So for me, this is something I've been wanting for a long, long time. As I said earlier, since I've been following Queen of the Thrones, which is a number of years now, but we just haven't had anything available here in the UK. So it's great that this is available now. I share the link as to where you can get it. Obviously, if you're in the US, you can go and check out Queen of the Thrones. I'm not at all sponsored. I'm not affiliated. This is just personally what I'm sharing with you, because I think the more things we can build into our routine in a day to help us to feel the best we can feel, the more that becomes our identity, that we are a healthy person. We are not someone who's got Hashimoto's or an underactive thyroid, but we are a healthy person because we are engaging in activities that are making us feel better and healthy. So it's really all around mindset as well. But I hope you find you found this video helpful. I'd love for you to share your comments with me in the your views in the comments below. Maybe you've tried this before, it's really helped you. Maybe you've tried it and just didn't get on with it because it's so messy. I know lots of people I've spoken to in the years I've been in clinical practice all go, oh no, I can't do this, it's so messy. But actually, you know what? It is, but it's not. So just don't wear stuff that you're precious about, because it's not going to come out. It doesn't wash out. And just be prepared for the fact that it's messy, right? It's like going to do Tough Mudder. You're going to get dirty. So you do a castor oil pack, it's messy, but there's some benefit to that. So leave your comments below for me. Tell me what your thoughts are. Tell me if you find it helpful. Give me a thumbs up if you like the video, and share it with anyone that you think might benefit from hearing this information. And then of course, go and download the free guide, because it's there to tell you exactly what you need, what steps to take for both your thyroid and your liver. One thing I didn't mention in the video, which is really, really important, is don't do anything with your thyroid until you've done some time with your liver first. And I talk you through that in the guide. So never go straight to the thyroid. Do some work first on your liver before you go up there. And the other thing I just wanted to say, that if you are wanting to kind of really level up your game this year in 2022, and you're ready to get your health back, dealing with an underthyroid can be really soul destroying, difficult. Dealing with Hashimoto's as well. I think that if you're ready to kind of really get in control of your health and your mindset, then book in for a free call with me. I am getting phenomenal results on my 360-degree solution package, where we are combining mindset with functional medicine. And this is where the magic happens. I can't stress it enough. I'd love to speak to you. So yeah, hop over. I'll put the link in the comments below as well. But yeah, I'd love to connect with you. Thank you for watching today, and I will be back soon.